Scribble notes when I wrote these quotes. If I offend.
What's up, y'all? How are y'all today? Hope y'all doing well. Hope y'all thriving. So in this episode, I actually wanted to talk about something called something I just found out recently. It's called the flinch, like flinching, and it's this really dope concept that I think you guys would all be interested in. Basically, the premise comes from a book, and the book is actually called The Flinch. So what happens is in life, we are all kind of placed in these positions where we want to do things, we want to achieve things, we have these aspirations and we have these ideas of what we would like to do, but we often will find reasons or make up excuses for why we can't achieve or do what we want. And it's the moment before that the flinch really highlights. Basically, it's like before you actually go and achieve a task, there's this hesitation that we all have in doing so. So one of the challenges that the author, I think his name Julian, sets out is to go in the shower, go take a cold shower, like right now, wherever you are, go take a cold shower. If you're home, like go in, turn the water on cold, take off your clothes and hop in. So many of us won't do it. And it's because it's not even that it bothers us. It's just that whatever that notion is, that idea that we would just go take a cold shower is just already unrealistic. It's outside of our norm. It's outside of our expected action. It immediately forces you into a position where you're doing something spontaneously, but you know that you're asked to do it. So what I find interesting about that is because of the flinch, because of this reflex that we have immediately to deter away from anything outside of our normal activity, we often apply that same flinch to other activities within our lives and other activities within our days. So if you think about it, it's like you get an opportunity to take out the trash, right? If someone said take out the trash, you'd be like, I don't know. Or you might come home and see that there's trash that needs to be taken out. And in that moment, when you first walk through the door, when you still have your shoes on or whatever, you could take out the trash and get it done within 30 seconds. But you have this moment of flinch where instead of just doing it, you decide and defer and do something else. Now, because we do that so often, we build this habit of staying with our routine, and where as humans, we often like our comfort zone. We don't like to go outside of that. So we like to do what we normally do. We like to behave as we normally behave, and we like the path of least resistance. The flinch kind of challenges you to go outside of that, go outside of the norm, take a chance and do something just because you're asked to do it. So one of the things that the flinch, another concept that you can look at, if I said right now, stop whatever you're doing, if you're in the middle of the road, pull over. It's like, oh, why am I going to pull over? I don't need to pull over. But it's that hesitation of like, I could pull over, but I don't want to, right? I could take out the trash, but I don't want to. I could do that assignment, but I don't want to. I could work on this project, but I don't want to. There's something else that would be more comfortable in that setting. If you're home and you're thinking about doing dishes, right? Sometimes we have routines where we'll do the dishes after we eat or whatever. If someone says, just do the dishes now, they're right in front of you. You might say, well, I got this nice shirt on. I don't want to do the dishes while I have this nice shirt on. Take off your shirt. You're like, whoa, why would I take my shirt off just to do the dishes? It's the same concept as hop in a cold shower right now. And what the studies that this person had found really is that action is the most important aspect of success. All successful people and all successful folks, when it comes to giving advice, say take action of any kind, whether it's small, large, it doesn't matter as long as you're moving and progressing towards something. Now, the flinch is this action that you can take, this understanding that it's your mind telling you not to do something versus you in the inability to do certain activities. So if you think about it, you have the power to take action anytime you want. You can start an assignment and just get it done. Often I try to apply this to kind of my work, where I'll look at a task. For instance, like I had to create a budget sheet on Excel. So when I first set out to do it, I'm like, it's been on my list for a little bit. It's been an idea I've had for a month. I have some time to do it. So the Flinch would say, well, it's been on your list. You have some other things you can do. This isn't the most pressing thing. Maybe I just don't do it. But I could also do it. So what I do is, if I have an idea, if I have something that I really am passionate about or I really want to do, I don't make the excuse of I could do it later, or I don't make the excuse of, well, this isn't going to be as fun. I just sit down and start. And the moment you start it, you realize that it's not nearly as bad or as difficult as you had created in your head. Even small barriers will deter you from taking action. So if you have to take the trash out, you'll look at the trash and say, well, I just took my shoes off, so can't go do the trash now. And it's like, whoa, you can definitely go throw your shoes back on, take the trash out real fast, and then have that piece done of your day. But we often will be like, no, now that I have that done, I'll sit on the couch and I'll turn on the TV and do something else that's less productive, but it's more comfortable. So when you're looking at work, when you're looking at things like that, if you have an idea, just do it. Sometimes I don't like to make phone calls. So when I'm at work and I have to make a phone call to a company, I'll try to find every reason not to. And I'll be like, I don't have to do it right now. But what I've trained myself to do is, when I say I don't have to do it right now, I'll just type the number and give them a call and see what happens, because it can be something that can take literally 30 seconds, a minute and a half, and checks off your list, and you have taken action and gotten closer to a goal and gotten closer to achieving. But you have to take action. And ultimately, there's this realization that you have to have, that your actions get you further. It's not your inactions that do. And if you want to achieve something, if you want to do something, you have to set time and space to do it, even if it's something small. I've been writing a book, working on a second book, working on a third book. And as I've been writing the book, I found myself constantly overwhelmed with how many processes and steps there are. Now, I understand the processes, understand the steps, but it doesn't make it less daunting, right? The amount, the number still are what they are. So even if I have a better understanding of them, it still doesn't stop me from needing to go through that step. So what I've been doing is kind of delaying my own success, right? I'm delaying the thing that I want to happen. I want to be able to finish this book. I want to be able to publish. But when I get feedback, I'm not applying it right away, even in moments where I could. So it's an area for me to stop flinching, to stop looking at the computer and not doing the thing. Instead, turn to the computer and do the thing. Turn to the computer, open up the sheet and just type for a little bit, get a little bit done, knock a little bit out, and get over that hurdle, that first flinch that makes me stop. And I think oftentimes we find ourselves constantly looking at the small reasons why we shouldn't, or unknowingly turning away from things that aren't as comfortable in the moment. And it's only holding us back. So as I'm thinking about it now, I'm thinking about all of the things and all of the reasons why I could be doing something else, right? Instead of recording a podcast episode, I could be getting more sleep, or I could be going to the gym. And all of these different opportunity costs, right? The thing that you have to give up, those things are not real. And when I say real, I mean tangible. Like, you didn't do them. There were ideas of things that you could have done during that time and space. So I could be playing a video game right now. I could be doing I could be visiting family. I could be volunteering. I could be doing all of the many things that are opportunities for me, but it doesn't mean that I actually would be doing those things. There's a difference between what you could be doing and what you would be doing. What you would be doing is often not nearly uh, as bold or as brave and honorable as we pretend, right? You might say, well, instead of taking out the trash, I will clean up. I will clean up the living room. I'll pull things together. And then in reality, right, you'll say what you will do, and then you don't end up doing that. Now you neither cleaned the living room or took the trash, but that was your excuse for not taking the trash. The action that you could take was your excuse, and the thing that you actually did do was different. So we often do make those things happen in our own lives. We'll say, well, I'm not going to do that this weekend. I'll do something else. And then when that something else comes, we don't. One of the other flinches I have in my life, especially on the weekend, now I'm bringing it up, is going to the grocery store. So I go grocery shopping for the family and the house. I do it on the weekend. I typically do it on Saturday. But every now and then I'll sit there, it'll be a nice day out, and I'll say, opposed to going to grocery shop right now, how about I do something else? And I'll say whatever else that might be. I might go outside for a walk. I might go to the gym. I might just hang out with the baby. And as I'm doing that, I'm like, wow, this is cool. But on the other hand, I also could just be taking a nap. I could just be sleeping, which are all important things, all great. But the thing that I intended to do, the thing that I wanted to do, or I should have been doing, I shouldn't have flinched on, was just going to grocery shop. Because then later in the day, when I want to make a meal, I don't have any food. And I'll sit there and say, wow, I actually wasted a little bit of time today where I was supposed to go to grocery shop and I didn't. And we often will have days where you say, I was waiting for this weekend to do this activity, to complete this goal, to check this thing off the box. Then I just never did. Another area where people find that is with purchases and buying things. If you have things that you need to buy, oftentimes you'll say, I'll do that later. I'll get that next time. And then next time comes and you have something else that you prioritize and you flinch on each purchase that you were supposed to make. Me and my wife, we actually had a dining room table with old chairs and we wanted to get new chairs. It's been 2 years of us wanting to get new chairs. We finally did. We finally just acted on that notion of we need new chairs. Let's just go get them, opposed to flinching every single time and saying, well, we'll have to pack up. We'll have to actually go to the store. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to see all the options. We just did it. And they're beautiful. It's amazing. But it's the understanding that you must act. You must do something in order to make change. Doing nothing will not get you further. And sometimes we have to understand that not taking action is just not enough. It's a difference between waiting, because waiting is an action, right? You can wait. You can sit back and say, I am going to wait patiently for this to arrive. However, not acting is not an action. Saying, you know what, I'm going to do nothing, and that is just what it's going to be. That's not getting you closer to your goal. I know there's like a nuance there. I know it might not make the most sense, but a good example of waiting is your birthday is in 2 weeks, right? You have to wait for your birthday in order to do the thing you want to do for your birthday. So that is actively waiting. That's not, I'm doing nothing for my birthday, right? So no, I'm waiting until that day to do X, Y, or Z to be able to execute on that task. Same thing with deadlines. Sometimes like I have to get this has to be done first, so I have to wait until that time in order to move on to the next step. Where doing nothing is, I could do this now and I'm choosing not to. That's when you do nothing. That's not taking action. But it was a concept for me of the flinch that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed this idea that you can get asked to hop in a cold shower right now and just do it. You're home, just do it. And still you'll have hesitation, and still you'll have some reluctance, even if it costs you nothing, even if it's just doing it. You might make every reason for why hopping into a cold shower at this very moment is wrong, or I shouldn't. And I challenge you to get over the flinch. I challenge you to step outside of yourself and say, you know, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to hop into this cold shower. I'm going to see what it's like real fast. Even if I know what it's like, I'm just going to get over this flinch that I have, this idea that I just can't do this, and just take action. I'm going to get gas for my car, even though I'm close to home and I don't need to necessarily. It's like, just go to the gas station. Future you will be even more happy you did. And just take the step, take the action, go for it and see what happens, opposed to waiting or opposed to doing nothing when you could do something. Take the action in that moment. Don't flinch and just try, because we all get paralyzed when we don't. We all get paralyzed when we don't try. We hold ourselves back from what we could be doing, and we don't optimize our moments of energy in these moments of calling in the universe. When the universe speaks to us to do something, when we have an amazing idea, it's like, just do it, just execute, just start, because that is where all the growth comes in. That is where the future potential comes in. With that being said, y'all have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Peace out. And thank you for listening to the podcast. Been another episode of Scribble Notes. Peace.
Scribble notes when I wrote these quotes. If I offend, pardon me, there's more of me to grow. Creative in my process, enjoy the show. The will is different when you recognize the different strokes. Different folks, same goals, we all want the most. So when we reach the top, we can enjoy the toast. The type of bread we get is fresh about the bakery. Told them don't play with me, with or without a degree. Don't question my intensity, bravery. Similar to agencies that want to see you fold. So just pray for me. Einstein with my